billboard and a person in real life, they carry the same weight in their head. Like to that, like their minds have melted until they don't understand the difference between bringing a kid to a shopping mall and walking by Victoria's Secret and bringing a kid to Pride and seeing a bunch of dudes in leather fucking gimp suits being led around by a leash. The idea to me that there are people in actual good earnest faith making the comparison between those two things is unfathomable to me. This sounds like a...
It's unfathomable, dude. It's just unfathomable. This is a guy literally creating like a take in real time. It's very funny. Because he's never thought this thought. You can tell he's never thought this before. Like he's only thinking this now because he's caught with his pants down and he literally needs to like create the take, dude. It's like it makes me it's hard to watch. It's very cringe.
Trad take, not gonna lie. Mods, you can just ban everyone who says shit like that. None of these people belong in my community. Okay. Now, additionally, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, just purge. Okay, just remove. Okay, these people, they don't have arguments, by the way. They just want to be able to wave their dick around in front of kids. Yeah, I'll say it. I think you're fucking weird. Okay. So the idea that these things are comparable.
You know, go fuck yourself, Vaush. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. Literally go fuck yourself, dude. That is such dog shit, fucking Republican ass talking point right there. And you have the nerve. You have the fucking nerve to criticize other lefties because what they say, you know, caters to right-wingers. Like, what you're doing here is literally just waspy-ass woman bullshit. That's what that is.
Okay, is absolutely ridiculous to me. Additionally, a lot of the people, they'll make these arguments. Have you heard this argument while participating in the discourse online? You know, you're so prudish and American, you know, seeing a person in like tight leather thong or seeing a person naked even, it's not harmful to children. We should destigmatize nudity and sexuality. They're not the same thing, which... I don't know if the argument they're making here is that it should be okay to flash children in subway train stations.
Like, what? Like, again, he just did the thing where he was like, okay, you know, seeing a guy in a thong is not, it's gonna, you know, whatever. Somebody says that that's not a big deal to kids. And then he jumps right to fucking, you know, some guy doing literal pedophilia or whatever, or sexual fucking assault. Like as if the LGBTQ community has this stigmatized to them all the time. You know, expressing their sexual preferences it's always tied to them, you know, by right-wingers, to them being pedophiles and then wanting to do these sexual acts to children in order to fucking, like, why do I have to explain this to you? What the fuck are you talking about?
Is that the argument they're making? Like you're like walking with your kid like in the New York subway and someone flashes their dick at you and like the kid's like, and somebody else like, and you're like, no. Sexuality and nudity aren't the same thing. Come on, guys. What are these trad takes right here? No. Come on. Oof, that's a pretty shitty bad equivalency. No, it's not. You're just too stupid to get it. The argument.
Listen to how fucking like excited he gets to like develop this take in real time. Yeah, you could just tell he's not being genuine either. It's like, why did you choose now to not be genuine? Like, I've seen you have really bad takes, and I can tell you're being genuine. You actually believe what you're saying, whatever, for better, for worse. I don't believe that you actually believe what the fuck you're saying, dude.
Is that even if nudity isn't inherently sexual, there are contexts in which it's inappropriate to engage in public. Like, for example, all of society, you fucking idiots. Jesus Christ, do we really have to argue back to this point? One of the core things that I learned when I got my fucking kinky rocks on or whatever in college was public play is irresponsible unless done in a controlled setting because people around you haven't consented to being a party to your sexual activity. This is like 101 stuff. The fact to me that
you're doing, okay, another thing, fuck you for doing consent discussion in any fucking context right now. In any context right now, you shouldn't be talking about fucking consent, because what you're doing is you're fucking taking away the urgency of demanding consent from people, okay? This is not about consent. You can't consent to what you see in public. You go out, you leave your front door, and you see what you fucking see, dude. That is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about kids' consent. They're not fucking them. They're partners in the streets. They're not doing it. This isn't what we're talking about.
That people are backing off this position.
The chatter was correct. This is a ridiculous false equivalency. And he just gets like, oh yeah. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Listen, reel it in. Listen to your chat, okay? For a second.
Like, oh yeah, sure. It's a violation of others' consent to involve them in sexual activity in public, unless it's at Pride, in which case it's totally okay. What? Are you fucking joking? Are you kidding me right now? Unless you do this wraparound and you're like, well, actually, it's not sexual at all, the gimp suits and the dog mask, to which I say, fuck off, and come on. Guys.
Okay, so where does the world exist where, yes, the dog mask stuff is inherently sexual, I would assume, for the most part, for most people who participate in that type of behavior. Good for them. But, like, what the fuck does that have to do with...
I'm honestly, now, I'm arguing past the boundary that I need to. There's only one point I actually need to make, okay? You know what it is? People aren't comfortable around people wearing gimp suits and dog masks. That's it. People should be comfortable going to Pride. That's it.
Who isn't comfortable? That girl in that picture wasn't scared and didn't give a fuck. You know? And like I was saying, if you're a good parent and that kid is struggling with the concept of what's going on with the dog mask, you just simply tell them you'll get it when you're older. It's not a big deal. Or if you want to be more open with them, tell them that's their way of expressing themselves. Don't worry about it. Teach them to just be tolerant of what they see in public that doesn't fucking involve them. You're making this, you're bridging the gap here by saying, you know, they want the children to come over and get involved in what they're doing. Like, what the fuck? Why would you say that?
You don't have to the arguments that people will pull out to defer from this position are insane to me. I'm actually asking, because I just want to ban all the people who give the wrong answer on this, okay? Would you be okay with a bill saying that for like sex ed given to your kids, that rather than being like read out from a book that the teacher gets naked and like shows on their body, would you be okay with that? Is that okay? Because nudity isn't sexual, right? It's like totally fine, right? Okay, we're looking for any yesers in chat want to get, yeah.
Again, like, and when I said to him, that bottom line is, when I don't even know, dude, there's literally this isn't even worth trying to take down right now. Like, what is this argument? There is no connection between the people doing the acts that you're describing and children, aside from the fact that they're occurring at an event where children will be. What's so sexual about being walked around in the dog mask if you're not doing extremely sexual acts in public? If they were doing sexual acts in public, it would have been stopped. Okay? Because there are police at Pride.
Yeah? Because this seems like the natural logical progression from what I'm seeing online. Like, nudity and sexuality need to be destigmatized. Look, dog, okay?
Nudity. This isn't about nudity either. Like,
nudity is not inherently sexual, but inherently isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about the culture that we live in, okay? You know what else isn't inherently offensive? Flipping people off, calling them the N-word. It's just a collection of vibrations through the soundscape, okay? That's not inherently harmful. Saying slurs isn't inherently harmful. It's only contextually harmful. Well, we live in a society, guys, okay?
Oh, no, he did the thing.
We live in a society. So this inherently this or that is a completely invalid argument when we're talking about the potential to harm people, okay? Inherently, anytime a person says something is inherently this or that, it almost naturally invalidates their argument because we're almost never talking about things which are inherently anything, okay? So I feel like I've dispensed with most of the bad faith arguments here, and a lot of the people here have been banned, but I just want to say, people who are arguing it's not inherently sexual to be led around by a leash and a dog mask, I don't give a fuck. It's considered sexual. Everyone considers it sexual. Everyone does. You're the only...
Kissing. Okay, intense kissing. It's also inherently sexual. Can you not, like, make out near children at Pride? I don't understand, dude.
Only lunatic who doesn't, okay? You can take photos of a person being led around in public in a dog mask with a leash and show them to 1,000 people, and I guarantee you the overwhelming majority of those people are going to say it's sexual. And given that whether or not something is sexual is a social construct, I defer to the wisdom of the masses on this particular subject. What about topless women in public? Well, that's an interesting question right there, okay? Do women go topless in public in states where they're allowed to? The answer is no. In New York City, they're allowed to, aren't they? But they don't. Do you know why? It's because there are cultural and social repercussions to going topless in public. Now, maybe in the far future, like a billion years from now or whatever, maybe then all humans are enlightened and we're all levitating with our brain power and we're all naked and nobody cares because nobody considers it sexual. People only wear clothing to protect us from the harsh solar radiation when we travel into space and fly off to our interstellar fucking colonies, okay? Maybe then, all right? But the problem is people aren't living in that zone right now. And the arguments for nudity not being inherently sexual are not going to ring particularly well when I fucking climb up on a ladder to your second story bathroom or bedroom window and start jerking off in front of it, okay? You're not going to appreciate my extremely woke arguments on whether or not nudity is inherently sexual then, are you? Okay? No, you're not. Because all of you live in a society too, and the only reason you're taking this fucking devil's advocate position is because you like the idea of being horny at Pride, okay?
God,
jerking off
I'm not having this discussion because I think everybody needs to be horny at Pride. Having this discussion because the people who show up in, you know, kink gear don't deserve to be spoken about like this.
in public is already against the law. What an incredible homophobic element of discrimination. Am I right, guys? Look, guys, you guys ready? Here's what you can do. The main Pride event should be accessible to everyone. Did you know that there's never just one Pride event in any city ever? Did you know that there are billions of block parties and after parties, clubs hosting special...
He says billions. First of all, what... Isn't it more... It would, like, going to an after party specifically for this thing, doesn't that just kind of like forcing these people, right, to go and do this elsewhere, right? Like giving them a designated place. Okay, the logical conclusion to this, okay? I should pull out my fucking MS Paint right now and just draw police beating the fuck out of people in leather. Because the logical conclusion to what Vaush is trying to say right now is there needs to be designated places. And look, I might be putting words in his mouth. He might just have this as an opinion for whatever reason. But if you want to follow this to the end, to the logical conclusion of what you're implying, that it's dangerous for these kids to be around these people dressed this way or behaving this way, is you designate a separate area for these people to be in. And so what happens is when those people say you want to actually implement this into a Pride festival and say, you know, these kink people need to be in their designated spot. What do you do when those people don't listen and they go to the main Pride parade and they do their thing? Like, what is the next step? Do you kindly ask them to leave? Because they're not going to leave. This is their event. Who's going to ask them to leave? The cops? The cops? Do you want the cops to kindly ask the kink people to leave? Is that what you want? Because the only logical conclusion is going to be forcibly removing these people from their own fucking event. And maybe that is what he wants, but he should just be honest about it.
Events, fucking private venues hosting shows and all that shit afterwards, everywhere in every city in America that has more than 10,000 people in its population. Did you know Pride parades aren't the be-all, end-all of public queer advocacy and expression?
Sure. What do you live in Seattle, right? I'm sure there are tons of Pride after parties that you can go to and whatever. But let me ask you something, Vaush. Have you considered maybe that if you're attending, I don't know, the Boise, Idaho Pride Parade or the Charleston, South Carolina Pride Parade, you don't think that if you had to force people from the fringes of the LGBTQ community to go to a much smaller, much more confined, much more, out of the way place from the main event, that you're not putting them in danger? You're not putting them in harm's way? You're not putting a fucking target on their back, dude? Not everywhere that has a pride parade is fucking down with gay people, dude. That's why you need to keep doing this. That's why you need to keep... That's why it's controversial regardless. It's always going to be controversial. Regardless of how regular you want all of these gay people to seem, that's not the reality of the situation. And if you're going to funnel these people into much smaller, confined, and further away areas from the Pride Parade, you're putting a target on their back.
Do you know that? Are you aware that if you really want to wear a dog mask in front of people, you can go to any of the dozens of available spaces designed to cater to horny adults? You can do that anywhere. Just, can we let Pride be like an event where people could just like go and it's not this crazy fucking controversy optics nightmare 97 fucking % of the time? Can you clarify if people in a leather vest?
When is it ever 97% of the time an optics nightmare? Like, that's also not true.
Is sexual or not? Guys, I don't know why when I say leather gimp suit, people hear this. Hold on. Gay leather. Let me show you what's not inappropriate at Pride. I don't know why this is controversial anyway. Like, I don't know what. Okay, hold on. This is fine. Why do people keep pretending that when I say leather gimp suit, I mean dudes like this, okay? Yes, I know about leather culture. Holy shit, they're dressed up more than I am at Pride. I wear.
These are going to be the guys who are removed. Because how many people do you really think show up to these events in dog masks and shit, dude? Like, it's not the majority of them. And once you get rid of those people, they'll come after these guys. Because they'll say it's basically the same thing.
Tank tops and shorts at Pride, okay? They're wearing more than I am, all right? Now, this admittedly, I mean, this looks pretty warm. I don't know what the temperature is over there. Going to get pretty steamy under that clothing, which is maybe the point. But when I'm saying leather gimp suits, I am not referring to people wearing normal clothing, which admittedly looks a little bit like Nazi clothes, but that's just kind of a... It's a whole cultural thing, okay? But like, look at the, like, look, okay, if you can get past the fact that it does look a little bit like Nazi stuff, especially this guy's wearing an armband, a blue armband. Is this like pro-cop leather? Look, ignoring the potential political implications, nobody's referring to this when they talk about like leather shit being inappropriate. Now, there are a lot of photos open on my Google Images on my other monitor, which are quite inappropriate that I'll not be showing for Twitch purposes. But also, like, here, I can show this. Also, if you're like wearing an open jacket, dogs, you can wear an open jacket like anywhere in America. This is fine. You can wear this anywhere. Like, anywhere.
Is that what you think when you give this ability to separate these people to whatever the power would be that's probably going to do it? The fucking police? That they're not going to go after this guy? You don't think they're going to do that? Are you out of your fucking mind?
At all, okay? They actually are complaining about that, though. I strongly disagree. From the discourse that I've seen online, people are mostly using that dog fetish leash thing as an example of inappropriate behavior, and then people acting in bad faith are like, you have a problem with leather? Okay. And then they post a picture of like a gay guy completely dressed in leather. I think that is fetish wear, though. Yeah, but you know what else is fetish wear? Leggings. But you can wear leggings in public. Just because there's an article of clothing associated with kink or fetish doesn't mean that every public demonstration of that piece of clothing is inappropriate. Obviously, okay? But can we really... Look, I'm not trying to define the lines here, okay? I'm not telling you there is a very solid, very specific, very definite line where this is acceptable and this is unacceptable. Because you know what? We don't have that anywhere. Anywhere. We can't even agree what acceptable clothing is for high schoolers in school. There is no way to determine with perfect accuracy what an acceptable line is. I'm only making the argument that you shouldn't engage in sexual behavior around children, that kink, BDSM, pet play, dom shit is sexual behavior that you shouldn't engage in around children, and that Pride should be accessible to kids. Those are the arguments that I am making. Okay? If you want to wear a spiked collar or like cat ears or some shit, those are associated with kink. You can wear them anyway. You can wear that shit to fucking school these days, probably. I don't know. The kids are crazy these days. People care less and less about this stuff. And in 10 or 20 or 30 years, maybe the line moves on this, okay? And when the line moves, we can have this conversation again, okay? Maybe.
Oh, if that isn't Vaush distilled into a quote, dude. Maybe in 30, 40, 50 years down the line, maybe we can have this discussion.
Maybe in the year 2172, okay? When the teleportation and levitation shit's finally starting to kick in, maybe everyone just wears thongs and pasties in the future, okay? Maybe. Maybe that's just the default. Maybe the president wears that. That's just the uniform in the future, okay? I don't know. Maybe 2170. I don't know what's going to be going on down there. The lines are culturally determined, and they're variable, and they're arbitrary, and they differ from culture to culture. I'd be okay with pride parades in Europe maybe being a little bit more permissive with nudity than pride parades in America, for the same reason that I think it's okay to do some things in some countries, but not other things in other countries. The broader utilitarian concern is conforming to the cultural expectations that you live of the country you live in. And if you disagree with that, then my follow-up question would be, how would you feel about going to Saudi Arabia as long as you were given some kind of diplomatic immunity and holding a pride parade over there using the same kind of clothing and attitude that you do over here in the States? You fucking wouldn't, would you? No, you fucking wouldn't. No, you would not. Absolutely, you would not. None of you are stupid enough to try. Because the cultural inclinations of a society matter when deciding how to behave in public events there. Okay? Does that make sense? Are we all on board now? Anyone, I just want to point out, by the way, that like basically all Pride or queer-oriented events that aren't the main Pride event every year are already catering to adult interests. So the people who are saying we should be able to be super fucking horny in public are saying not only do we deserve all of this territory and all of this territory and all the clubs and all the events and all the bars and all the private parties, we also deserve the main Pride event, which they're free to go to, by the way. Just wear clothes. That's what they're saying. And I find their arguments unconvincing and their behavior incredibly selfish. Not to mention the optics stuff. I haven't even talked optics, okay? But yeah, Pride is basically the most forward-facing, like optically available, like queer event in America. And every year we get the same discourse. Wouldn't it be easier to just like saddle the controversy a little bit, considering how often gay people are accused of being fucking pedos? Because I'm gonna be real with you guys. I really do think that the people who want to be kinky at Pride just get off on being transgressive, okay? I do believe that. I don't think they sincerely believe that they're doing some sort of crazy like civil rights fight. I just think it gets their dick hard to be super transgressive in public. Which, hey, by the way, you don't have to be gay for that to be the case, okay? Straight people also get off on being transgressive in public. That doesn't make it good, and it doesn't make it a civil rights struggle, okay? All right, I think we did it. But you're literally promoting the idea that gays are pedos?
I like that. He's just like, yeah, we did it. Here's exactly why everything I said makes sense. He's this image. That rules.
No.
The fact that he has the nuts to just, it's pretty crazy.
I'm saying the idea that people adamantly fighting for the right to be sexual in front of children are pretty suspicious in that regard, okay? And I think the vast majority of IRL fucking queer people would consider the online positions I've seen people take insane, by the way. Just from the queer people I've met in real life, I can say this very confidently, that if I talk to them about this would be a no-brainer for them. Yeah, Pride should be available for kids. Yeah, we probably shouldn't do any crazy sex stuff at Pride. Yeah, obviously. But then I go online.
He's like, if I were to talk to my queer friends about this, they would definitely say, yeah, we shouldn't be able to have butt sex in the middle of the road. Duh. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm Vaush. It's like, no, that's not what you just said. You literally conflated some guy showing up in dog masks, like some guy jerking off in a subway in front of your kid. It's like, and then you had the nerve to be like, oh, well, like we got to stop this because gay people are always being compared to pedophiles. As I compare, you know, gay queer people to pedophiles, like pretty much for like 25 minutes straight, dude.
A bunch of fucking bread tubers who have probably never been to a Pride event in their fucking life are dying on this hill. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be mean to the people who are doing this. But like, God, come on. All right, are we good? Did we do it? Are we here? Are we free? Is this appropriate clothing at Pride? I don't know. You know, I get the aesthetic that he's trying for here, but yeah, I don't know, man. This feels like a little inappropriate.
Yeah, I just wanted to go through that because it's like this guy is as much as I hate to admit it, he really does have a lot of sway on the discourse for whatever. He really does. It's kind of crazy how much impact he has on some of this discourse. Like this shit has been talked about a lot because he has a lot of people tweeting for him. And I'm just thinking to myself, like I thought you were good on this issue at least, like, you know, and then you get all your fucking conservative viewers to be like, oh, Vaush is right. You have all these people on Twitter being like, well, actually, there are tons of events after Pride that they could go to. It's like, no, there's fucking not, dude. What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? What place are you talking about? Again, if you were to, you know, Raleigh, North Carolina, Pride Parade, and then you're telling all the extreme fringe side, not extreme, but the fringes of the LGBTQ community that show up to express themselves, to go somewhere else, to go to a small bar, you know, somewhere across town to go do their thing. You really don't think that you're putting those people in danger? You don't think you're putting people in danger by trying to imply that they shouldn't be doing this in public near the kids during the Pride Parade? Like, dude, get your fucking head out of your ass, man. Just admit, just for a second, just admit that it was stupid and that you were wrong. That's all you got to do. All right. I'm glad I got that off my chest. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I feel like I'm listening to like a Republican lecture me on like it's like what are we talking about here? Who the fuck cares, dude? A guy who clearly has no idea. A guy who clearly would have no idea what to do as a parent. I mean, maybe in real life when he's not putting on this fucking thick fake take, maybe he would actually be a little bit more understanding, but you know, for the camera, you got to work it, baby. Clearly.